Welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's 3 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. First, we want to thank everyone for joining our first virtual event today through WayUp. We are very excited to be able to leverage this platform to connect with you and share a little bit more about our story here at Bobcat. So before we get kicked off, I want to take a moment to walk through the agenda with you. We will start off by sharing our Bobcat story, where we started, where we are today, and what is in store for our future. Next, Kristen from our early talent team will be highlighting our student and new grad programs, and then you'll be able to have the opportunity to hear from 3 of our very talented team members, covering some of those questions that you shared with us during registration, as well as a little bit more about their journey at Bobcat. To wrap up, we will share some resources and then also answer any additional questions as time allows. All right, so as we get kicked off, I want to introduce our early talent team. First up is Kristen Aswigi, who is our early talent acquisition specialist, and she works really closely with our students and our student managers from everything on our student program, from recruiting to our hiring process and onboarding. My name is Stacy Sellers, and I am the talent acquisition manager and have the opportunity to work closely with Kristen on our student program fulfillment as well as our new grad fulfillment. And I also work a little bit with our recruitment marketing. Lastly, on our early talent team, we have Chelsea Singate, who is our early talent program manager. Chelsea really drives the direction of our early talent program, not only how it looks today, but into the future as we continue to support our ever-evolving needs of Bobcat as a business and also our student needs. So a little bit of history. Bobcat actually had its early beginnings in 1958 in Rothsay, Minnesota, so right here in the Midwest. And that's when the first 3-wheel compact loader was born, and it was born out of a need for farmers to efficiently clear their barns. Prior to that, of course, they had the larger equipment that just didn't effectively work in small spaces, and there was a clear need for smaller compact equipment to be utilized around the farm. And from that, then that 3-wheeled compact loader was created. Today, as a leading global manufacturer, Bobcat has a proud legacy of innovation, delivering smart solutions to customers' toughest challenges. Bobcat offers an extensive line of worksite solutions, including everything from loaders and excavators to compact tractors and utility vehicles, as well as our portable power lineup and industrial vehicles and ground maintenance products. I wanted to share this slide with you because it really speaks to our core purpose, which is empowering people to do more. And not only do we strive to produce equipment that empowers our customers to be able to do more and tackle their greatest challenges on a daily basis, but we also want to empower our team members to accomplish more, and not only through collaboration and innovation, but also our culture. And so I felt that this slide was really something that I wanted to share with this group particularly, because at the core of our purpose, that empowering people to do more, are our values that we as a team embrace. And those values you can see listed there are bringing the passion, believing in each other, and creating tomorrow. This is a list of our facilities and offices worldwide of Bobcat. I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about our North America operations specifically. So our North America headquarters is located in West Fargo, North Dakota, and you can see a picture of our beautiful facility there in the inset of the slide. We have about 5,500 employees across North America, with 3,500 of those being located within that North Dakota region. We also have a very robust research and development team in several locations that focus on research and development. 3 of those locations are located within North America. The first one being the Acceleration Center in Bismarck, North Dakota. The second one is our Fargo Studio, which is located in downtown Fargo, North Dakota. And then the third one is our Product Engineering Group, which is based out of our Gwinner, North Dakota location. And really the core values that I spoke about a couple of slides ago really go into our work environment. And Bobcat has been really very proud to create a work environment that fosters collaboration through design and technology. And we realized in order to foster that collaboration and innovation, we needed to have an open workspace or open workforce or work office concept design. And so what that really means is there's no cubicles, there's no assigned seating, we don't have assigned offices. All of our space is open and collaborative, and this really enables our team members to go where the work is. So if you're working on a project and you need to sit next to a team member, it makes sense for you to go to where that team member is, or that team member to come to you, so that you can collaborate and work on that project. We also have enclaves and non-reservable conference rooms throughout all of our facilities to allow for collaborative idea generation and facilitate meetings between employees. And really, our workforce technology is set up and designed to support this open office concept as well. So everybody has laptops and wireless devices. And then we also have ergonomic sit-stand desks with dual monitors to be able to dock into at all of our locations and all of our desks that we offer. This is a snapshot of our product portfolio that I wanted to share. And so a lot really has been done, of course, to expand the definition of compact equipment since that first three-wheel compact loader. Bobcat, we have really focused on our Triple Crown products for many years. And for us, our Triple Crown products are that compact track loader, the skid steer loader, and then the mini excavators. And through those designs, we continue to expand our compact equipment line to better serve our customers' needs based on their feedback and based on the work that they do. So examples of this include adding the compact tractor back into our lineup. We did that in 2019. And then we're the sole North America manufacturer to offer a small articulated loader product. And this product is really useful in landscaping applications. It fits in really well in small spaces, for example, sidewalks, those types of things where maybe the larger compact equipment would not be as effective. We also have refreshed our Toolcat, which is Bobcat is the only manufacturer of that type of machine or equipment. And then we also launched our NT100 mini track loader as well. In 2020, we began to offer our grounds maintenance equipment to meet the needs of a wide variety of construction, landscaping, and homeowners projects and needs. And then beginning this year, we added the material handling lineup, and that includes our forklifts and our warehouse vehicles. We also have a portable power lineup, which includes air compressors, light towers, and generators. And we primarily see these used on construction sites as well as in disaster relief efforts. And so the very last slide that I want to share with you before Kristen starts talking with you a little bit more about our student program is just a glimpse of some of the exciting things that our teams are working on as we look forward into the future. So for purposes of today's presentation and our time limit, I have divided this into 4 main focus areas that I'll touch on briefly. The first being the future of retail. So we offer feature on demand, which is a subscription-based service for customers to be able to unlock specific features or options on their equipment as needed. The second main category is autonomy, with the development of work function and autonomous driving equipment. The third is connectivity, with current customer solutions in our Max Control and Machine IQ products that offer remote control capabilities. And then the fourth, rounding this group out, is electrification, with the development of electric and hydrogen vehicles. So a lot of really exciting work going on in these 4 specific spaces. I also wanted to point out that we have approximately 830 team members globally in our research and development groups, with 450 of those being based out of North America. And now I'm going to go ahead, Kristen.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Stacy, for giving us a little overview of what and who Bobcat is. As Stacy mentioned, my name is Kristen. I am the Early Talent Acquisition Specialist. I work closely with our students and student managers with recruiting and hiring and all questions around that area. I am very excited to give you a presentation about our student programs. This is something I'm very passionate about, and I'm excited to show everybody else kind of what Bobcat can offer for you. So first, we have a variety of different student positions available in both engineering and business functions across the different locations. Some of these include our design, which contribute to the design of our product by developing and modifying equipment using Creo 3D modeling software. Another option for you in our engineering student program is the embedded software area. This assists in developing hardware and software strategies to support vehicle architecture while meeting industry standards and regulations. We also have our electrical side, which assists in the creation, modification, and maintenance of engineering design of assigned product and system and components. And then we have our electrical test that support and complete electrical component testing in the environmental lab. We have quite a few more options, like our product service area. This uses statistical tools for advanced prediction of machine warranty. Our manufacturing side, we're a huge manufacturing company, so we obviously have our manufacturing engineers, and they analyze and make recommendations on the manufacturing process of our products in terms of quality, economic, and ergonomic factors. We also have our quality. They complete formal audits and assessments on products and processes. And then lastly, we have our tests, which develop and set up tests to evaluate functionality and performance related to structural fatigue, sound, hydraulic, and cooling. We have many other options for our non-engineering side as well, from human resources, finance, sales, supply chain, and all of those, just to name a few. Bobcat has 3 main student programs, with our co-op program being the largest. The co-op program is a full-time, 8-month long-term, targeting freshmen through seniors and freshmen through senior standing students. The internship program is a semester-based program. This is also targeting our freshmen through senior standing students, but these students will work part-time during our fall and spring semesters, and then have the opportunity to work full-time in the summer. A lot of our engineering students do take part in our co-op program, as this allows them to do, they are able to work full-time and gain a deeper, more hands-on experience with the projects that they are involved in on their team. We also have our student development program, or our SDP program. This is for our engineering students who have had previous co-op or internships within Bobcat and have demonstrated an exceptional performance. They work part-time during the school year, either at our downtown Fargo location in North Dakota, our Bismarck Acceleration Center in North Dakota as well, and we also have our Statesville, North Carolina location opening up for this. These students are able to focus on quality, design, FEA, and embedded and electrical engineering. And as shown on the previous slide as well, we do offer over 200 student positions each year. So to give a little bit of a high-level overview of our student benefits, we offer hands-on experience, as I said before, mentorship. We also offer full-time career opportunities after you're done with your schooling. We also have professional development and events. And as Stacy mentioned before, we have a very collaborative and innovative culture. So it's a great opportunity for our students to come in, and we definitely rely on those students for a lot of our innovation as well. We also offer some competitive pay, relocation reimbursement with a housing per diem, and tuition reimbursement. In the previous slide, I did mention that we have professional development and events. This includes some monthly student events where we can promote networking and development things related to LinkedIn and job searching. And we do perform some mock interviews so you can get some practice doing that. These are located at, or these are, um, my apologies, these are planned at each location, usually by another student. So they are very centered around what students are interested in and are wanting to see at that time. We also have a National Intern Week. This happens in July every year, where we dedicate the entire week to celebrating our interns. We are grateful for our students and believe that they do help create our tomorrow, and we value their new ideas and innovation for our organization. Lastly, we also have our Doosan Day of Community Service, or DDoCS. This is where all of our employees, and we include our students in this and really encourage them to go. And they are able to help impact our communities, and we're able to volunteer and all of that. It's a great way to learn about other students and meet other staff members and all of that. So that is our overview of our student program. We're going to jump right in to our panelists, our Q&A session, and I'm going to ask that they all introduce themselves. So how about we start with Whitney?
Hi, my name is Whitney Merroll. I am a Global Engineering Manager of Embedded Systems here at Bobcat. I have my undergrad in electrical engineering from North Dakota State University.
Awesome. Thank you, Whitney. Jamie.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Jamie King. I'm a senior electrical engineer at Bobcat. I graduated from North Dakota State University in 2009, and I live in Fargo with my husband, 2 kids, and a 15-year-old cat named Toonses. And if that name sounds funny to you and you don't know about it, you should Google Saturday Night Live, Toonses, the driving cat.
Thanks, Jamie. All right, Megan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Achbach. I am a senior intern on the electrical engineering team. I currently work out of the Acceleration Center in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I will be graduating with my bachelor's in electrical engineering here in December.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so we're going to jump into some questions. So the first question I have is, what inspired you to pursue a career in engineering at Bobcat? Jamie, can we start with you?
Yeah, that sounds good, except I have a terrible reason why I was inspired to become an engineer. I don't want this to be anyone else's reason. What it is that I wanted to be another example that proves a woman can be an engineer too. But then I've realized women shouldn't have to prove we belong in engineering spaces. So at least my inspiration got me into a good career, even though I was inspired by the wrong thing.
Thank you, Jamie. I think that's still a great reason. We do belong in all the areas. You're right. Megan, what inspired you?
Yeah, to get into engineering, I grew up, my mom was a math teacher, and so I was always like around mathy things growing up, and so I always knew I was going to end up somewhere like that. And so it was actually on a college visit where I met with some engineering professors who introduced me to the field, and I kind of decided that's what I wanted to do.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. Whitney, what inspired you?
My dad was an airplane mechanic, so I was always kind of around building things, doing things with my hands. I really enjoyed that. And I feel like I had an interest in the medical field, but I had no interest in taking on a ton of student debt and going to school for like 10 years. So I originally started out in biomedical engineering, which was an emphasis of electrical engineering. And then I kind of shifted away to that just general electrical engineering at one point, thankfully. But so I kind of stumbled upon it more or less and didn't really know what that meant when I picked it as a major, but I'm very glad that I did.
That's awesome. Well, sticking with you, Whitney, and kind of going with that, were there any key moments or turning points in your career that significantly impacted where you are today?
I think one of the biggest points for me in like how I've built my career is when I was going through college, like I took classes, I was, doing fine in school, but I wasn't really, nothing had really like clicked for me just yet. And I'd done an internship in manufacturing that I like enjoyed. I could like see myself doing that. It was fine. And then I got an opportunity to have an internship doing software development, and it just clicked with me that day right away, doing something with my hands, relating it to an application. Like I was helping test the inside of a semi truck. I was like, oh, if I hit this switch, a blinker goes on. This makes so much sense. So I think once you can find like something that really resonates with you and like just ties it all together, that made it just so much more interesting and rewarding, of things to work on.
That's awesome. Thank you, Whitney. It's cool to finally get that click in and figure out what you love to do. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Jamie, how about we move over to you for a little bit? How have you continued to learn and grow professionally after graduating and starting your career?
Yeah, it naturally happens over time, gaining different experiences through working on projects and especially with different teammates. It teaches me how to communicate effectively, which is a skill, something I continually try to improve. And then, like on the technical side of things, like growing and learning professionally there, it really was a lot of reading for me. It has been a lot of reading, and again, naturally gaining skills, like when having to troubleshoot a problem or develop a design.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. Megan, how about you? So can you talk about your career journey? You're about to complete your engineering degree, and now you're working your way into the professional side of it. What has been your experience and what can you talk about that?
Yeah, I would say, my career journey really began when I was a freshman in college. And I think you kind of have to have that mindset where your career doesn't start after graduation. Like as soon as you're an engineering student or any student really, you have to be, thinking that this is your career now. And so when I was a freshman in college, I knew that I wanted to get right into the world of internships. And so I began applying right away. I was applying to jobs I was underqualified for. I was applying to internships that weren't really that interesting to me, but I knew I had to get my foot in the door somehow. And so after my freshman year, that first summer, I did have an internship that was in the engineering realm. It was probably a little more civil engineering oriented, but I took it because I knew that was going to be a good first step and it was going to help me get to where I wanted to be. And then my sophomore year, I knew I wanted to specialize a little bit more into electrical engineering and I'll go a little bit more into what I was interested in. And so I took one weekend and I applied to 50 internships in one sitting and just
Wow.
started waiting for everything to come back and got an interview request from Bobcat. And in that interview, my now boss told me that, one of the reasons that I got the interview request, because even as a sophomore, I was still a little underqualified. One of the big reasons he gave me an interview was because I had that previous internship experience. And so I really see the value in just getting your foot in the door anywhere, and that can only help you out in the long run.
Mhm.
And then after that first co-op, so I did a one full-time co-op with Bobcat from May to December of 2022. After I took that full-time co-op, I entered the intern program and I had 2 semesters of one part-time and then one full-time summer working with the same team. And then after that, I joined the student development program. So I've been in all 3 of Bobcat's student programs. And so the SDP program has allowed me to keep working during school as I'm keep going towards the degree. And throughout all of that, I kind of saw my internships as big interviews for a full-time position. And that was always the mentality I had where, this is all building to a full-time job. And so eventually, this past spring, I knew I was getting close. I was less than 12 months out from graduation, so I knew I was getting close to start looking for those full-time opportunities. And so I started watching for positions, and I saw that some were opening up on my team, and so I just started putting my name out there. And in that space, I had to really be a good advocate for myself and say, like, no, I'm a great candidate for this position. Like, I'm not graduated yet, but I'm still a good candidate. And got an interview for that, and then received a full-time offer for my position, which I will start after I graduate. And so it's been a lot of just saying yes to things that, might not be exactly what you're looking for at the time, but you know that in saying yes to certain things, it's going to open those doors for you down the line.
That's awesome. And you're right. Always say yes if you feel comfortable saying yes, but always say yes to those things that could possibly help you move your career along. That's awesome. Thank you, Megan. All right, so let's move in to some advice for the students. What advice, I'm going to be asking this to everybody. So, what advice would you give to women currently pursuing an engineering degree? Whitney, how about we start with you?
I think the biggest piece of advice I'd give you is to make sure you keep pushing through that imposter syndrome. Like you're going to feel that at some point, um, or you'll be given a challenge and you're like, I really don't know what I'm doing. Um, a lot of times, what you learn through school isn't necessarily what the answer is, but that you have the skills to find that answer. So don't be afraid if you don't know what to do right away. You've learned this, you've earned the skills, you've learned how to solve problems. Just rely on those to keep pushing through all of those uncomfortable moments. A lot of times when you're uncomfortable, that's where some of that growth is happening, and that's always good to have. So the other thing I would give advice for particularly women, make sure you realize that there's space for everyone. I know a lot of times, especially when I was younger, I was like, oh, I'm the only woman here, and then would maybe feel a little bit more threatened if there was another person around, where it's like, that's, we can build each other up, but we don't need to compete. Especially if you're in like a newer spot, you don't need to like prove yourself or compete against other women. You can definitely build each other up. So.
That's great. Yes, build each other up. That's always good to do. Jamie, what would you say?
Yeah, it kind of piggybacks off what Whitney says in that we shouldn't compare ourselves to another person and try to be like them. Trust and be confident in yourself is my advice. And to ask questions. That doesn't make you look lesser. It makes you look engaged. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Megan, would you have any advice that you would like to give?
I would say have somebody that you can look up to, who you trust if you have a problem, whether it's your manager or just another engineer out there. Just kind of have an ally that you can go to if you're having problems. It's like, I have this situation. How can I react positively to it? And so find someone who you can reach out to if you're in a tough spot.
That's always great to have. Luckily, we do have, I would say a lot of our managers and mentorships are pretty good with that. So it's awesome to be able to have them on your side and keep you learning and be accountable for you. All right, so another question for all three of you. What skills or experiences outside of traditional coursework helped you succeed in your career? Jamie, would you like to start that?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, one specific thing I did was attend a Dale Carnegie class, which helped me develop my presentation skills and communication skills. It also taught me some really good tips like remembering people's names and how to do that to make it easier for yourself. So something small like that can make you stand out in your career. So I've taken away a lot of tips from this Dale Carnegie training course.
That's awesome. That's always good. I forget people's names all the time. I should talk to you after on that. Megan, what would you say outside of your coursework? What has helped you?
I would say do what you can to build up your resume and your interviewing skills, especially if you're a student applying for internships. Your resume is not going to look too different than other people, sophomore engineers. They kind of have taken the same classes. And so if you can develop those skills to make your resume stand out even a little bit more, and then you can get to the interview and have a knockout interview, that's really going to set you apart. And so I know for me, that was doing mock interviews. A lot of universities have career centers where you can do that sort of thing, or even if it's just sitting down with friends and saying, I need you guys to be an interview panel, and you just Google common engineering interview questions. That goes a long way to just being prepared and knowing what to say in that situation.
It's a great example. Thank you, Megan. Whitney, what would you say helped you outside of your coursework?
I was always involved in a lot of sports in high school, and then I went on to like coach when I was in college. So learning how to like work with others and participate on a team in like the different roles, whether you're, the one doing a lot of the work, whether you're the one making the decisions and setting the direction, learning how to kind of play all those different roles and work with others and be able to communicate well with others what your needs are, and what needs to be done, or if there's any like feedback or anything like that. I think it's really important to be able to have a conversation with people that you agree with and also disagree with. So if you can have those more crucial conversations, but handle them in a good way that has a productive outcome, that's a really important skill.
Yeah. I heard you say crucial conversations. Luckily at Bobcat, we do have the opportunity to do some extra training. And one of those is crucial conversations and I think crucial accountability, I think is the other one. And both options are great. And everybody in their career or professional and personal, it's always a good thing to have in your back pocket. So I do suggest those as an option. All right, another question for everybody. How important is networking for an engineering career, and how did you go about building yours? Megan, let's start with you this time.
I definitely say networking is super duper important. I've personally seen its benefits for me as I was trying to get into, through the intern programs, and, people knowing who you are is a good thing. And so for me, networking, it's not just, going to someone's desk if you have a question and talking with them. I think a lot of good networking can occur on some of those informal activities. And so at Bobcat, we do a lot of events that I always like to participate in because I think it's a good way to meet people outside of my team. And so, like, some of those have been, we had a Pinewood Derby, we've had a chili cook-off. And so, when you participate in those, you get to meet and talk with people on a more informal level, that kind of builds that relationship where, when you do need something, they see you and they know you're not just, just the intern that just kind of sits over there in the corner, but you're active and integrated in the company culture. And so networking, very, very important for sure.
I agree. Thank you, Megan. Whitney, what would you say about networking? What would be important?
I'm with Megan on this one. It's really important, super duper important, I think is what she said. So I have to agree with that. Just being able to have a network of people if you have a problem that you run into, along with like not necessarily needing to know how to solve every problem yourself, but knowing how to figure out a solution to things. There will be times when I'll like throw a challenge out that I'm having with someone who's in a completely different department, not in engineering, and they're able to be like, "Oh, you should ask this person." So even building up your own network, and then you can expand your network with your network's network. It's just great to be able to know people who know people who know people when you're trying to solve a problem. I think it also can just make it a more enjoyable working environment. It's great when you want to show up to work every day because you like the people who are around you and you have, things to talk about and common interests. It just makes work so much more enjoyable. And it's where you're going to spend a good portion of your time. So it should be something that you enjoy.
I agree. Yeah, 8 hours a day, you're spending time with these people. So you want to keep the network going. Jamie, what about you? Do you have anything to add?
Other than, yeah, it's super duper important. It's not just important. Yeah, I agree. Um, and it's important for me because when I don't know the answer to something, I know who to at least talk to and, collaborate again to come up with a solution. The way I build my network is either through having just a casual conversation in the office and just like I talked to a guy about my manual coffee grinder that my grandparents had on the farm. And now we just established a connection. And who knows when he'll come in handy for me. Yeah. But then additionally, attending like more formal events through the company, like Bobcat specifically put on a women lead event. So that was all women participated in a couple days getting together and various speeches, presentations. Um, yeah, it also just comes naturally as I'm put on various projects and then have to work with different people.
Yeah. Jamie and I actually, I believe that's where we met, that women's event last year. I think that is how we met. So a great networking opportunity right there.
Exactly.
My grandparents also had a manual coffee grinder, so there's a connection for that as well. All right, let's move on to the work-life balance and culture. So Megan, how has Bobcat supported your efforts to balance your personal life with schooling and trying to pursue your career?
Yeah, I would say that was something really important to me when I was looking for internships, is I didn't want an internship that, demanded all of my time and demanded to be my top priority. Because for me, my priority was excelling at school, and I wanted a career to kind of support that to go along with it. And so when I was a full-time co-op, with the tuition reimbursement, that was able to help me, cover some of my bills from that semester. And then as I went into part-time work, so now I only work part-time during the school semesters. It's very flexible on my hours on, when am I free from my classes? And so it's not, here's where we come into work. And so you have to schedule your classes around that. It's, here's my class schedule. And so here's when I'm going to come into work. And so by having that flexibility where I get to pick when I'm in the office, I'm able to, keep working on those classes that I need. And then also people are really respectful of the boundaries of, I'm not in the office. And so you cannot like get a hold of me. Some places like the expectation is, oh, you have to answer your email immediately. Like people know that, I work Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so if you message me on a Wednesday, you will get your response on a Thursday. And people respect that a lot. And so it's nice to not have that stress or the pressure of, oh my gosh, like people at work need me, but I'm trying to do classes. Like work is there when it's there, and then I can focus on school, and then I come and do the work, and vice versa. And so it allows me to be successful in both things by not allowing things to get, too complicated and crossed.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate the balance that Bobcat allows for all things personal and professional. So, Jamie, what advice would you give for engineers beginning their career on balancing career growth with personal well-being?
Well, it's been a journey for me. So to be able to give advice is even just nice because it's taken me a while to give myself advice. Because at first I put too much of my energy towards work because I wanted to know everything and be the perfect engineer so people would respect me. Um, but I learned I don't have to know everything right now. It's okay to learn as I go. And, there's no such thing as perfect, anyways. So now I give what is needed at work rather than burning myself out. That not only allows me to have hobbies, but to actually like be present during those hobbies rather than having like work on my mind. Uh, I can leave that at work now instead of carrying it over into my personal life. I also, we talked about saying yes to things. I also learned to say no to things. At least me personally, I know like moving into a management role would not benefit my like personal well-being. I don't think I'm like fit for that. So I'm upfront with that with my supervisor about what I want and don't want, so I can keep that personal well-being going.
That's a great example. Thank you for giving that. Okay, so the future and growth. We have a couple more questions on this. Jamie, I'm actually going to ask you a second question, right? Two in a row. What role do you think collaboration across different engineering disciplines will play in the future innovations?
Yeah, collaboration already plays a major role. I work with several different disciplines to accomplish a project, and I need to lean on others when I don't have experiences in that area. Again, it's okay to not know everything. That's why we have many people on a team collaborating.
Mhm. Yes, that's true. You're electrical, you may not know as much about the manufacturing side or anything like that. I sure don't know any of it, so I'll support all of you, or I'll lean on you, and hopefully you guys can help me if I ever need some engineering assistance. Whitney, how about you? What emerging trends do you think will have the biggest impact on the future of engineering?
So that's a really tricky question.
It's
Um,
hard.
you know, we don't have the ability to you know, read the future and what's going to happen. There's like a quote from Henry Ford that's like, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have asked for faster horses before like making the shift to cars. Um, and there was a time when people thought computers were a trend and there's no way everyone would have one at their home or in their pocket. And maybe for, I don't know what this audience is, but there was a time before we had cell phones and we couldn't predict that everyone would be carrying around cell phones with them every day too. So it can be hard to predict, but there's definitely a lot of trends towards anything with AI and model-based learning too. A lot of automation is making its way and any sort of autonomy, especially in any sort of like automotive or off-road vehicle, which is what Bobcat would fall under. Um, I think, we've talked about self-driving cars, and we follow the automotive industry pretty closely. So at some point you'll see more automated or autonomous bobcats out there. So there's a lot of technology that enables that sort of features. So between like sensors, any sort of like advanced computing, there's a ton of technology going forward. So I think right now AI and any sort of machine learning are really like the biggest factors to keep an eye on for engineering in the future. But that being said, you want to make sure that you're flexible and able to kind of pivot from one thing that you buy into, and you can be able to pivot to the next trending impact area as well. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. You don't want to get too locked into one thing and then if that doesn't work out, because there's, along with every technology that has been a success like computers and cell phones, there's also a handful of other ones that were supposed to be the next big thing and didn't turn out. So make sure you're able to vet out anything properly on those future trends before you go all in on one thing.
That's great. Good advice too on that. Thank you, Whitney. All right. Stacy, are you seeing any questions in the Q&A area that we would like to ask any of the panelists?
Do you have one? So as a mechanical engineer turned data scientist, how do you see the use of data helping engineering goals at Bobcat?
I can take that. Going back to the future R&D and innovation slide you had shown us earlier, we talked about connectivity, max control, and machine IQ. So in those spaces, analyzing data is key. So I could see both even some mechanical engineering experience as well as the data science being beneficial there.
Yeah, we do have kind of the other side of the organization that goes all around supporting that connectivity. And there's the challenge of not only just capturing that data and then making sure we're making the right decisions with it. So I think that's a great area I think there'll be a lot of growth in making sure we're making data-driven decisions. And the more and more we can do that, I think the better customer experience we'll be able to offer.
I know in my position, kind of like what Whitney was saying, like making those data-driven decisions, I see a lot of that in quality and warranty. And so, how do we use that data to improve our designs as engineers?
Awesome, thank you. It doesn't look like we have any other questions at the moment. I don't know. If we want to go to our next slide, Kristen, and then we can always come back if more pop in.
Absolutely. Okay, so I do appreciate you all joining us for our first Way Up virtual event. It has been great, and I hope so far this information has been valuable. Please drop in any more questions if you have any, and either Stacy and I can answer it on our hiring side, or one of our panelists can answer it on the engineering side. But a few QR codes here. The one on the top left corner will bring you to our student landing page. This will give you all of our open applications or recs available for student opportunities, from our engineering to business related co-ops and internships. The QR code on the top right is for our full-time career landing page, and you can find all of our full-time opportunities there. And then we also added in that Way Up landing page, Bobcat's Way Up landing page, and that's going to be in that middle bottom area there at the bottom. So it has been great to have some conversation with you guys. I don't know if any of the panelists have any last things to say as well. Happy to hear from all of you too. It's been fun. I really enjoyed this. I get to know more about Jamie, Megan, and Whitney, and it's always fun this is our networking here as well. So it's good to have that. All right. Well, I'm not
seeing any additional questions. So I think we can probably wrap up. One plug I'm going to make. Kristen was sharing those QR codes in our talent, our different career pages. And one thing I do want to encourage you is if you don't see a position that specifically interests you or aligns, especially if you're a new grad or going to be graduating soon, I would really encourage you to join our talent pipeline or our talent community, because what that'll enable you to do is, one, you'll be able to get set up to get notifications when we do have positions become available that will align with what you're looking for. And then two, you'll become part of our talent community, so that we as recruiters can reach out to you as well when we have things open up and have discussions. So I would really encourage you, even if you don't see anything right today that you're interested in, definitely join that talent community. It definitely is a great resource for career growth.
Thank you for adding that in there, Stacy.
You are welcome. All right.
All
If there
right.
are no other questions, I think, and if any of you have questions, feel free to reach out to us as well. We're happy to happy to help.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. I really appreciate you all joining and learning more about building your career at Bobcat.